Hey there guys, so last time in the anime, Eltir tricked Sisbel and the others by bringing them to Lou's family home. Since she was Sisbel's sister, no one suspected her. But she was a wolf in sheep's clothing. She knew that bringing Sisbel there would naturally draw Alice in, and to lower their guard she even tried to get close to Iska, which somehow ended up with all the sisters in the same bed with him. Well anyways, Eltir had to leave because their mother, the queen, called her back. But before leaving, she gave Sisbel a stern warning to stay put or her servant Schwartz would die. Sisbel shared this with the others, and Jean sensed trouble and suggested them to leave. And he was right. When Eltir got to the Nebula Palace, her mother confronted her, knowing Eltir had framed Lord Mask for the recent incident. Eltir tried to play innocent, but just then, Imperial soldiers attacked the palace to capture the queen. And now, as the story continues, Alice received news of the Imperial soldiers attacking the Nebula Tower and ordered Rin to prepare the car. She was worried Iska might have tipped them off about her being away from the palace. But she still wanted to trust him and asked him to stay put. Iska was confused by Alice's vague words, and Salinger was observing everything. He recognized Hydra's in this mess again. He used to be close to the queen, but it seemed he was the one who attacked the previous queen, Milla's mother, which severed their relationship. The queen watched as the Imperials tried to breach the magically protected castle, and that's when Nameless appeared with a solution, setting off an explosion that created an opening for them. Now the real invasion begins, as all the founders are monsters themselves. Sisbel, witnessing this, was devastated, and Nene reassured her that they weren't behind it. And Sisbel knew they weren't because she had been keeping an eye on them, but deep down, she suspected Eltir because of her earlier warning. Then suddenly, gunshots erupted from the ground floor, meaning the Imperial soldiers had attacked their location too. A few soldiers entered the balcony, but Jean quickly saved Iska. Realizing these weren't real Imperial soldiers, he noticed their flawed gun-holding stance, indicating they weren't used to firearms. These were astral mages, meaning the real army was attacking the Nebula Palace. While this fake group came here, Nene heard more gunshots, so they all rushed downstairs. Jean took charge, and as they descended, this clown was showing off his ridiculous skills, thinking he was a star. Anyways, he's the current head of the House of Hydra, who rushed here supposedly to save Sisbel. Sisbel believed in him because he was a high-ranking authority in their kingdom, but Jean was sharp and asked some pointed questions. He reminded them that the girl who attacked them earlier was also from the House of Hydra. Talisman brushed it off, saying that girl was acting on her own, but Jean wasn't convinced. He knew Talisman was working with Eltir because only Eltir, Alice, and the Queen knew Sisbel was here. So how did these fake soldiers arrive with Talisman? Jean realized Talisman wanted to make it look like the Imperial army had kidnapped Sisbel, which also meant he was the one behind the attacks on the Queen and had framed Lord Mask. Jean knew Lord Mask wanted to destroy the Empire, so he would never cooperate with them to stage a coup, leaving Talisman as the only likely culprit. With everything exposed, Talisman dropped his facade and told them his real plan was to reach the world's core with the Empire's help, and Sisbel was the key. He ordered his troops to eliminate Iska and the others and capture Sisbel, so Iska stayed behind to confront Talisman, whose wave-based powers were formidable. Meanwhile, the royal palace was somehow holding out, and May was leading her troops to the Queen. On her way, she realized the path wasn't ending, and Kissing from the Zoa family with space-time powers appeared. And elsewhere, Lord Mask faced Risha, expressing his disappointment that the Empire wouldn't be engulfed in flames anytime soon. He also noted Rishia's status as a saint disciple, which pleased her. As for the head of Zoa, Nameless himself confronted him. He was a disabled old man who lost his legs 40 years ago, yet he was a terrifying figure with unknown but clearly potent powers. Then, on the other side, Sisbel knew of a secret passage to escape the mansion, but it was dark, so she clung tightly to Jean, embarrassed to admit her fear of the dark. Then Jean reminded them to keep an eye on their ammunition just in case, and even this hidden passage was filled with enemies. The one attacking them was a snow mage, whom Sisbel was meeting for the first time, but Jean knew her because she was infamous for single-handedly wiping out the 5th Division, a truly formidable mage. And Alice was rushing back to the Nebula Palace, Rin thought only a small number could have infiltrated their location with handguns or rifles, but the queen's life was paramount, however. When they saw the scale of the flames at the palace, they were in disbelief. It was all Altair and Talisman's doing. Talisman knew Alice would be their biggest obstacle if she stayed near the queen, and Altair knew how to lure her away to the vacation house by using Sisbel. They figured that if Sisbel returned, she would uncover their plot to assassinate the queen, and Talisman considered it a convenient way to pave the way for the Imperial army to attack the queen. A two birds with one stone scenario, but Altair had a grander vision. To overthrow the queen's entire rule, Talisman assumed she was aiming for the next queen position, but Altair clarified that she was leaving it to him. Then, he called the captain of the intelligence corps and an assassin to escort Altair. It was a well-crafted plan, and Altair, born with seemingly useless powers, was jealous of her sisters and mother. And that jealousy fueled her actions. The queen, as a leader, dispatched her loyal soldiers to guard the tower at all costs, determined to protect the kingdom of mages. But then Johaim, the first seed of the Saint Disciples, arrived to confront her, showing no fear despite facing the Queen of Mages herself. Right there, our episode 7 ends. So stay tuned to watch the next episode, and for that, subscribe the channel and hit the bell icon to get the latest updates. Till then, take care.